Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is time to get back to the Roadrunner. What are we doing today? Well, I got a couple things I need to do before we plop this 440 down in there. I want to mount the master cylinder, make a couple of brake lines, and probably go ahead and do all the brakes on the car so she's ready to go. I think we're going to start with the master cylinder and the brake lines. I don't want this big old honking motor in the way as I'm trying to put those on. So let's start there and see where it takes us. If you'll recall, the last thing we did, I think, was make a firewall patch here out of this piece of plate. So what we're going to need to do to make this work is we need to mount our master cylinder to this piece of plate, and we're going to have to cut a hole that we can put a push rod through. It isn't going to be pretty, but it should be functional. Basically, all we're going to need to do is find the center of this, and we need to leave room for this little screw thing here, because I'm pretty sure you need to keep that in there to retain the piston, I think. I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty clueless when it comes to Mopar, but that seems to make sense to me. Anyway, it's just the brakes. Who cares? I'll go get the death wheel, and we'll start cutting. Time to get ghetto. Got the bolt holes here. And we're just going to shoot for the middle-ish of these holes, I guess. We got about a... Put the mic on there. Yeah, about a 1 inch diameter. Alright, time to get to hacking. My favorite part. Look at that. That's a thing of beauty right there. Hey. Well, we can see the piston through there, but it looks like we need to notch it just a little bit more on the top there to get that set screw thing to clear. Sorry for sniffles, man. I'm still kind of getting over our road trip. Cold in the Holy Goat, driving cross country. How's that? Oh, man, I tell you what, I sure would have made a good engineer. So thankfully, my buddy over at Lightning Shifter Studios sent me about a gazillion 5/16 nuts, because I didn't have any. And this takes a 5/16 bolt. So we'll just take some of these random washers I had laying around. Sorry, we're about to start a premiere on the Holy Goat and the Ford going to Kentucky for Holley Ford Fest and the No Name Nationals. So bear with me for a second there, in case that kicks on any minute now. Oh wait, that's right. I was going to bolt it to this first, but forgot it actually needs to bolt to the brake thing. Anyway, you kind of smell what I'm cooking here, right? Just kind of bolts on there, and then the push rod will go right through the back and push on the thingy-mabobber there, and then things will happen and the car will stop theoretically. We're going to take this guy, just bolt her right on. We already made this in the last episode. There goes the premiere. Dang it! Well, I've got the plate bolted in here, and I've got the master cylinder kind of loosely set on there. And I think it's on there crooked, but the whole car is kind of crooked. So I'm going to chalk it up to that. And then when it's crooked later, we'll just ignore it and pretend it's not there. And call it good. Because that's just the kind of craftsmanship you can expect out of this channel. And now, obviously, we need some brake lines. Now, I'm going to have to look up and see which one of these is the front and back. Typically, the bigger fitting is the rear brake, and there's a larger fitting on the junction block down there. But at least for now, we can make our lines. I was able to get these brake line fittings for like $10 on eBay. Then I bought a roll of brake line tubing, steel, not copper, because I don't really trust that stuff. But the reason I did that instead of buying like a stick or something was we have different sized fittings on either end of the line, so a stick wasn't going to work. And it's really not that hard to flare your own tubing and bend your own tubing if you start from scratch, especially if you got the old one to kind of go from. Now obviously it's been snipped off, but you know, we can get the idea of what we need out of that. This is one of them real fancy ones. Basically what you do is you take one of these dies, whichever one is well, that's metric. Probably just throw those away, actually. Find a schematic that tells me which one of these is front and rear. So I'm gonna guess that this one's the rear. I don't know if I sprayed this thing. Ah! I gotta loosen one of these other lines. If I do that, then I'll know which one. If I loosen one of the front lines and then spray some in there and then brake clean comes out, then I know that's the front port. Which still tells me nothing because I don't know which is which on the master cylinder, but I'm assuming the back one is the rear brake and the front one is the front brake. Although this reservoir is slightly larger, and usually the larger reservoir is for the front brakes. So I don't know. But typically, you hit the brakes, you engage the rear brakes a little bit before you hit the front brakes to keep the car from like fishtailing and stuff. So maybe? I don't know. I got this line here loosened up, which is the passenger front. Take that off. Crap came out of it, so it's a good sign. Yep. Okay, so this top one is the front brakes. So at least we know that. The bigger one is the front brakes, which is good because I would have done it opposite. And now that valve is blown out, so woohoo! This is the old brake lines. We know the bigger one here on top is the front brakes. If we kind of put these back where they seem to come from, you know, roundabout like that. This one seems to be happiest at the front reservoir. I don't know. Why do they gotta make everything difficult? They're both the same size. I don't get that either. I mean, normally you got like one that's a 1/4 inch and one that's a 3/16. These are both 3/16. You got a 50-50 shot, right? So judging by this random picture I found on Inline Tube's website, looks like this brake line has armor on it. This brake line has armor on it, and this is the rear brake line. So this guy's the rear brake line. The rear brake line has the bigger fitting in it, which is the front fitting of the master cylinder. Sometimes a little good old-fashioned detective work will get you where you need to be. Basically, what we're going to do, now that we have some idea of what we need to do, is we're just going to try to match these curves in this thing, right? You know, even the steel line bends fairly easy, but your life will be made a lot better if you just get one of these cheapo tubing benders. Or you can get one of these fancy tubing benders here that I don't really know how to use. So we want to try to catch this kind of shape here, right? So we want to put a 90 in it right here. You know, I mean, and we don't need this to be perfect at all, because, well, let's face it, it's not a show car, but you get the idea, right? So what I'm going to do before I go too crazy here is I still got to figure out how the hell to use this flare tool, and I really want to because it looks so nice and fancy. One thing to note here, I just cut this tube a little shorter, even though it's not cut to length, but I'll just show you real quick. Is use a deburring tool anytime you're flaring any kind of steel line, and just clean up the inside of that. Otherwise, if you got a burr in there, it's going to roll into your flare, and you're going to have a, I don't know what an engineerical term for that would be, like a deformed flare, and it may not seal as well. The other thing to note is I'm not a huge fan of that copper line that everybody else uses. It's easy to work with. But the thing is, this steel line here, this green coated stuff here, is really heavy. It's rust proof, damn near. And you can still bend it by hand. Not as well, but you can still bend it by hand, and it will hold up better. I use the copper line too, just like anybody else, but when I have the chance not to, I'll use this. Okay, I'm going to try to show you to the best of my ability how the hell to do this. I had to do some practice ones. I think I got it. Doesn't look too bad. I don't know. Probably gonna leak like a bitch. Look at that, isn't that? That's OEM right there. Don't forget to put the fitting on the line first before you flare it, because not that I did that 3 times or not anything, but it's what you need to do for starters is find the correct die for this thing, right? And so what you're gonna do is put your line inside of the die, like so, and you're going to want to line that up evenly with the top of the die. So it just kind of sets in there like that. Okay, it goes in like this. Then you can clamp it in with this thing. It's got like this vise thing on the side of it. And then you want that to be nice. What did I do? I just broke it. Are you kidding me? What a piece of shit. I just broke it. I didn't even tighten it that tight. What the hell? Okay, don't buy this piece of shit. Look at that crack. Right there. Pure Chinesium. Well, it's a good thing I don't get paid to put this crap on the channel, so I can pretty much say whatever I want. Just know whenever you generally, when you see something on the channel, it's not something I got paid to do. They just sent me the stuff. So I'm going to attempt to use this still, I guess. Huh. Well, maybe not. What the hell, man? It's just a 3/16 brake line and a 3/16 die. You know, and then as I was looking for those brake lines, I of course found some for $24 for both from Inline Tube. Hindsight being 2020, that would have been a hell of a lot better of a way to go. I'm gonna throw this in a scrap pile so it can be returned into Chinesium like it belongs. So here's the deal. I just went ahead and used this, you know, kind of old cheapy one that I had from like a Napa or O'Reilly or something like that, and it worked fine. I'm not a big fan of them. I think they're kind of hit or miss, but it did work just fine. Now here's the thing: why you need a double flare on a brake line is because you are flared on the fitting and on the line end. Okay, so you're flared on both ends of it, and you can get away with a single flare, but not for long. And with the amount of pressure that brake systems see, you need a double flare on there. So go the extra mile. I'm going to show you how to use this since we didn't get to use the other one. But I'm going to put this line on and make sure I'm doing this correctly, which I'm pretty sure I am. But, you know, I've been wrong before, so I was really hoping to avoid this. See, now that I'm in here, I'm going to stay in here. Is there anywhere to put my ass? There we go. Wow, pretty comfy. Now I know what it's like to be a 440. Start the sure to leak line on here. Let's throw a 90 in her. You know, I never get that right the first time, so that means this is definitely going to be screwed up. I mean, look, I ain't going to argue with it. And here's the brake line we're going to try to copy. So I'm going to just kind of eyeball. Again, not going for a points restoration here. Just it do need it to be functional. And these little bends and curves and stuff in here, they actually matter because they will improve pedal feel. A little bit of resistance in the line will give you a firmer pedal. Yeah, I mean, you know, anything in this neighborhood is going to get the job done. Perfection is not the name of the game here. I mean, it probably is for people who care about their lives, but not me. I'm going to cut her just a little long. We'll probably have to snip off the extra, but it's better than wrangling around this big old roll. Don't forget to put the fitting on the line. Where the hell's my brake line? There it is. Wow, I am beyond lost out here. Where's the freaking flare adapter thing? Oh, there it is. Right where I left it. Okay. So here's what you got, right? You got yourself a die here, right? Put the fitting on the line. You take your adapter here, and you want to put it sticking out the same width as this adapter. So about there. The straighter your cut is, the better your results are going to be here. Mine is not very, so I'm sure it's not going to be the best. But now with this armored line, you got to kind of crank these dies down. Get your line sticking out, right? Set that guy in there. Put this guy right over the top. Just tighten her down. It's going to get stuck in there. Always does for me. Pry them out sometimes. And what you're going to have is like a bubble flare. So, how you make your double flare, because right now we're flared on the back side of the line. So how we're going to make our double flare is using the pointy side of this adapter dealie. And you're not going to go too crazy here. Just kind of till it snugs up on you. Back her off. And boom, you've got a flared fitting. So then you take this whole Shazam apart. Here. Come on, get up. I don't know, not the best flare I've ever done, but not terrible. So now I've distorted it too much, and now the fitting won't go over it. Of course, I mean, sometimes to get these things to slide back on, you can just use a wrench and try to like screw them back on with a little bit of pressure. Or, you know, sometimes it doesn't work at all and you end up looking like an idiot on YouTube. Not again. God, kill me now. Well, anyway, hey, I got it done. But, and it's okay. It's not bad. I did learn. When I did this top fitting, I took a piece of emery cloth and removed this armored coating on there and had no problems flaring it. Lesson learned there. Which is, you know, it's all part of it, right? You gotta take them when you can get them, you know? Life lessons aren't always easy to come by, so when you find one, hang on to it. My grandma used to tell me if I didn't learn something every day, I wasn't doing right. Anyway, we'll tighten that down, and there's our brake lines. It's pretty much how you do it. You know, your mileage may vary. When it comes to brakes, just as a disclaimer, don't listen to the idiot on YouTube, okay? You know, do your own research, read some books. I don't know. Don't listen to me. Yes, I know I forgot to bench bleed this, so... Well, and we can bench bleed it on the car just by plugging the ports and pumping her a little bit, but I need to remember that, so we'll just write that down right there. So for a push rod, I robbed this little, I guess, I don't know what you call that, swivel joint thing, off of my brother's truck. I mean, I didn't do that at all, if he asked. You know, if he hits the brakes, he's probably going to have some problems, but we need to get inside of that little hole in the back of the master cylinder. What we need to do is pull the pedal back, max her out this way, then we're going to hold this up and measure how far we got to get, you know, near that hole there. So we'll probably go to the back of the master cylinder and then add half an inch or something like that. I got the world's absolute worst tape measure here too. I would be impressed if anybody could find a worse tape measure than this one. It's like 2 inches and change. So let's call it 2.5 inches. How about we call it 2 3/4 inches? So we can always cut off a little bit more. All right, so what we got here is, here's the little push rod dealie, right? We needed to add 2 3/4 inch. So let's go ahead. This is how long we need to be overall. This is how long it is. And so what I got here is a sleeve that doesn't really fit it, but what we can do, see, this bolt will end up being our push rod. And because I know I'll end up moving this, let's go ahead and mark it here. So this is so precise right here, folks. Slide that on like that, right? Kind of leave it with a little bit of adjustment here. We should be able to adjust this if I do it right, and I, you know, probably won't. We thread that into there and cut the end of this bolt off, and boom, you got a push rod. You guys know me, crack welder. There we go. Just kind of tacked it on there, and I'll weld it all the way around, but just to verify our effectiveness here, you can see it's still adjustable. This might work. This might work better than I thought it would, actually. Sometimes I kind of amaze myself. There is one poorly welded coupling. Now we'll go ahead and grind that down so it doesn't look that bad. Put on my safety glasses. And it is these skills that will keep me alive when Armageddon comes next week. I will be keeping my eye protection on. We move on to chopping this bolt off right at the threads. So here's this. Now before we dry it, I'm going to go ahead and round the end of this off to make it more like a ball shape like the original push rod would have been. The bench grinder seems to be fanning the flames of this wood top. Could walk away right now. Get the insurance money. Well, I mean, it'll probably put itself out. Ow, God, ow. Okay. Oh, that fits in there really nice, actually. Did I nail this? Did I get that right? I say, I think I'm just about the damn master of jury rigging. Look at that. That's freaking perfect. Actually, I think it needs to be a little bit longer, but there's plenty of adjustment here. Let me take it out just a little bit more. Might be a little tough for you to see here, but I'm pretty happy with this. Looks like it depresses nice and clean all the way, doesn't catch on anything. That's how it's done, guys. When you don't have anything, you just make it, okay? You just make it work. And, you know, that comes from years of, like, I got to get to work the next day. And I don't have the parts, so here we go. Good weld on this bench that just caught on fire. What could possibly happen to go wrong? Don't show my insurance. It smells like something's on fire. Oh well. Not bad, not bad. I'm getting better at welding, actually. Something I've always needed to practice at. But there you go. There's that. And she's still adjustable, too. If you loosen this jam nut, you can still adjust that. That is how you make a brake push rod. There you go. I just went ahead and popped it in there, and you can see we got a brake pedal. It works now. Means we're pretty much wrapped up here, except for bench bleed that, obviously. And I gotta put that back on. I need to kind of do a parts check and make sure I got everything we need here. Let's see here. This is a hose. That is one hose. Hopefully the rear hose. What's this? Okay, there's two more. These are the fronts. One wheel cylinder from one place, one wheel cylinder from another place. Pair of brake shoes, all from Rock Auto, mind you. And then I picked these up at a swap meet, which are for the rear, and they are brand new with the receipt even. I got these from my buddy Perry for 60 bucks, and they're freaking hung up, but there's brand new brakes inside there. So we'll just unbolt the whole backing plate and just pop new brakes on the back. Easy as that. Look what I found. This piece of Mercury Grand Marquis roof just fits in here real nice. I mean, not really nice, but you know, it does fit. Well, not really, but it almost fits. Good enough for the girls I date, so let's screw it in there. I'll just go ahead and shoot a self-tapper in it. Look, it's fixed. It's completely repaired. Not sure how bad that's going to screw me when I go to put a hood on it, but at least for now, the hole is almost 90% covered. You know, it's more like 70. We'll fix the rest of this. There we go. Yeah. Seam sealed. Never even know. So, I'm looking at the rear brakes here. Good news is, they're the right ones. Bad news is, I don't want to unbolt and pull the axles out of this thing, because I don't want to open that can of worms. We're going to disassemble all the hardware off of that and just put them on those backing plates. But they're missing the brake adjuster. So, these are the original ones I found inside the car. So this one's good, but it's missing one of the caps. This one has the cap, but it's locked solid. I probably have another cap, and we're just going to soak this baby in some of my secret sauce. Soak that baby in the forbidden Kool-Aid. See if she'll break free. Now look, a brake adjuster is like $5. But it's $5 safe, damn it. And for any normal guy out there building a car, those $5 and $10 add up quick. I managed to wrangle up another brake adjuster, which I robbed the cap off of for this one. As is good practice anytime you touch brakes, I'm going to go around this thing and hit all the brake lines with my secret solution here. And hopefully by tomorrow they'll be a little easier to break free. I'm probably going to call it quits for the night and come back out here tomorrow. I've got a swap meet to go to. Hopefully we find a steering column. Fingers crossed. I want to take a break from the brakes for a second. Went to a swap meet today and picked up a steering column for $20. Now it says 70 CUDA on it, which, yeah, it's pretty much the same thing. They're both Plymouths. So obviously they are completely different, and this is the column out of the Roadrunner, and obviously it is, I mean, beyond foobarred, right? So I don't really care that it's not the right one, or maybe it'll be a little shorter or something. It's not like we have like a dash to get in the way. I don't know what else I need to rob off of this or whatever. I want to keep the steering wheel, I know that. I priced out everything to like put like a circle track style column in, and with like a double D and just a shaft. It was going to cost me like $200. For whatever reason, Mopar guys think everything's made out of gold, so a column typically goes for about $300. You Mopar guys, you might consider not trying to retire off of these cars if you want them to survive and be around. This old fellow was nice enough to let this go for $20, so they are out there. I put the firewall plate from the original column in here. Let's see what we got here. It's as far in as it's going to go. Let me just use this flashlight to hold it up. Easy does it now. Yep. It's not that far from it. Yeah. So I think what I'm going to do is move that firewall plate back. And there's some detents I'll have to knock off on the column. But I think it'll be okay. I mean, even if it's in like that, it might be in a little bit further. I don't know, we get like a super deep steering wheel or something, and I don't know, it'll be okay. So yes, I'm being lazy, and no, I don't care. So I'm gonna go ahead and chop this column shift off. So we're gonna need that out of our way. And then there's these two little detents right here, and they keep this from being able to pull back that way. Yes, it's gonna be a little shorter, but for $20, this is the way I'm doing it. iPro. Floor shift car. And now you can see we're able to fully adjust this bad boy. It looks like it might even be the right spline. Come on now, be a good car. Work for me. Now, you rotten son of a... Got the action on that. I mean, that's on all the way. Seems kind of dangerous, but you know. Am I turning the wheels? Look at that. Can you see that there? There's a little roll pin right here that I'll lube up. And that is all that stands between you and death in these cars. Well, that's not going anywhere, said the guy who died later on when his steering column fell apart. We got one little issue here, is that everything actually seems to line up fairly well, but I'm thinking we got to get rid of not this whole outside casing, but just this like column shift part right here. Aha! Beautiful. Somebody somewhere probably needed that. Yeah, so it's in here. Feels pretty solid. The noises it makes are a little concerning. I'm choosing to ignore that. I don't know what it is. Ah, that's it right there. I got it kind of cocked at an angle here. So it looks like I need to like drop this bottom part down a little bit. It's rubbing right here, no biggie. Well, I can't adjust the bottom of that column anymore, so it looks like I'm just gonna go tickle it a little bit. Ah, there. Let's get this out of here. Just it's rubbing even more. Ah. Well, that's bad. This is just the column shift stuff, though. So does it really matter? I don't know. I mean, it's just a steering column. What does it even do? Well, that's marginally better. I think we'll just let that, you know, wear in a little. So you're no doubt wondering, what are we going to do for a steering wheel? Well, we got a perfectly good one right here. I'm going to trim a little bit of the fat first. I'm not able to get a steering wheel puller on here because the holes are jacked, but I could kind of get this Pitman arm puller on here. I'm gonna have to step her up. If we get this done, the steering column done, master cylinder's done, nothing's in our way to put an engine in it now. Got it. Ow! Fell right on my foot. Ah. That's gonna hurt tomorrow. The things I do for you. Maybe a little love tap. Okay. Well, that's stripped immediately. That's not good. The threads on this are a little bit gacked, and for once, by somebody other than me. It kind of looks like they've had some blunt force trauma applied to them. So I'm going to run a rethreading tool down it, or try to. And if it don't work, then I'll just use the rethreading tool as the nut. And, you know, I guess I'll buy another set. You know, that might work. Use a castle nut for a little style, you know. Oh, that's awful. God, it's perfect. Well, I know the Mopar guys out there will appreciate me keeping the numbers matching steering wheel on here, so hey, you're welcome. Alright, I get it. We're going to go ahead and add the Tough Grip steering pad to it. You know, and we're going to start with the base Tough Grip pad from Dollar Tree. Some people call it duct tape, but that's not true, actually. It's actually special Tough Grip. And when this runs out, we'll just go find more stuff to wrap around it until we have something resembling a steering wheel. Switching to the non-conductive Tough Grip coating here. Oh yeah. Well, there's one layer on. This seems like a job that JD would genuinely enjoy, actually. So I might just leave the rest of this for him. Try to get it a little bit fatter than that. You know, something comfy. I'm going to move back onto the brakes tomorrow. Go ahead and throw this brake together, I guess. Kind of just got out here. It's already like 7 o'clock at night, but tired after a day's work, man. But I got these little things to help me out here. You know, there's this little company, kind of a startup company called Magic Mind. And this stuff here, little shots like this, and I'm not getting paid to do this, but they sent them to me, right? And dude, they really work. Like, they have maca in them. I don't know what that is. Matcha, adaptogens, nootropics, and honey makes you happy. I don't know. But anyway, I'm not a botanist, okay? But for real, the stuff works. I mean, it, boom, gives you a little, just a jolt of energy, and there's no crash. Because I don't think there's any caffeine in it, or maybe there's a little bit, I don't know. But stuff is good stuff. I'll put a link in the description with a discount code for you, because they sent it to me. And, you know, try it out, you know, if you need a little boost in your day. It works for me. Will the brake line come free without being a douche? I'm going to go with no, but let's find out. The car is remarkably not very rusty, so no way. Just came right off. No problemo. Hell, there's still brake fluid in it. Are you kidding me? Yeah, this wheel cylinder doesn't even look bad. Probably nothing wrong with it. But just to be on the safe side, we'll use our new stuff. Now, anytime you get into a brake system, the less stuff you got to remove, the better off you're going to be. Because you open up that can of worms, man, and you are, well, you don't want to. Look at that. Look at the drips. That is brake fluid coming out of this system. That is unbelievable. Wow. Holy crap. Now here's the wheel cylinder. Oh god, look at that. There ain't nothing wrong with these things. So here's the original hose here. And it actually still had fluid in it. But you can tell it's trashed. And that's exactly what you need to look out for on old cars when you're doing brakes. You know, the actual brakes themselves, pretty idiot proof, honestly. Leave one together so you can put it back together and it looks right. And it's the hoses and the lines. That's where you're going to run into trouble, especially these. You know, they may look fine on the outside. This one doesn't, but they might look fine on the outside. And very rarely are they if they're old on the inside. Rock Auto'd all this stuff. I mean, it was literally like $5. Okay, so I mean, they're not expensive. And it's probably worth your life to at least replace the rubber components and the wheel cylinders or brake calipers in your ride, alright? Trusting the old stuff will get you by for a little bit, but I would... ow, son of a... I'd eat 40 years worth of crap. I'm going to throw these on, and I'm just going to give you a real quick step-by-step on here, because I know a lot of YouTubers do this and try to make themselves seem like some kind of freaking genius because they can put a drum brake together. Like, they still use these on a lot of things. The first step is put the wheel cylinder in, and before I ever even start the bolts on a wheel cylinder, I start the line in it first and then move the wheel cylinder up where you need it, because it's a lot easier to make two things meet each other instead of try to make that line try to match the wheel cylinder. I mean, not all of them are created equal. I am going to try to go ahead and hook up the park brake cable, which is just that easy. No, it's not that easy. Sorry. Ignore that. So you just got to pull the outer sleeve spring back. There we go. Oh, shoot. But you kind of see there, pull the outer sleeve back, and then she'll just kind of hang on there. You're going to stay there? You're going to be cool? No, you're not. No, never. Put the nail through here and stick her on there like so. And if you got super beef hands, you can just, you know, squeeze that spring down. Then you got to give it a little rotation. Me, I just use vice grips. There we go. Got it. The optional mud daubers out of this one. Cool. Now we got to put a brake adjuster in it, though. I forget about that. Literally just pulled that original brake adjuster that was rusted solid out of my vat of solution here, and dig that. Pretty good. Look at that. All the threads are wet. It's soaked all the way through. Why does this matter? Because look at this action. See this? This little guy? He bumps up. So we want one of these to go up. I think I grabbed the wrong one. But, well, no, these are actually the same adjuster. That's not good. You know what? Forget everything I said. Brake adjusters don't matter. Are you crazy? Well, we have no self-adjustment capability now, but that's okay. It'll only be on the one wheel, and hell, the rear brakes, yeah, well, they don't really do anything anyway, so let's just slam her together, full send mode. I'm not going to set this up permanently, because I did order some new wheel studs for this, because these are in pretty poor shape. I mean, when I pulled this wheel off, I immediately yanked a stud out of it, and I don't want to do that again. Okay, oh yeah, there we go. Cool. One down. Now what do you think about painting the drums red? I think that might look kind of 80s. Let's go ahead and go full 80s carcraft here. Oh yeah. It'll look pretty sweet behind those turbine mags. I'm going to go ahead and knock out the other rear brake here, and then I'll bring you back in when I dig in on the fronts. It might be tomorrow, but we're getting... progress is happening. I was just about to go ahead and put this new wheel cylinder in, and I noticed the brake bleeder is broken off in it, which is not good. What I'm going to do is take the one I thought was good out of that side and give her a little quickie refresh here. I took it apart just so I could inspect the bore of it, and it looks really nice. It really doesn't look too bad. I mean, the seals are still pliable in it. Just the dust boots were kind of dry. I'm going to clean up these rubber seals. A little shot of brake clean. Let's clean off our pistons. That should work. Probably won't work, but it should. There we go. There's one wheel cylinder. This side's done, and I've already begun the rebuilding process of the entire undercarriage of the car. So, yep. Oh wow, look at that. Brand new. Wow. You don't get that kind of quality from Clark Dorkman. JD's here for a little bit, and he's going to continue applying the tough grip to the factory tough grip steering wheel. Numbers matching.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So, well, let's dig in here and see what we got to work with. Looks good so far. Nice and clean. Evidence of like water or carcasses or anything like that in here. Well, that's a good sign. That is a made in the USA Timken bearing. We'll save that and salvage it for sure. £10 lighter after that already. Good thing is the backing plates on these are very heavy, so we could probably do some prying on that if I have to. Let me tinker around with it a little bit. I'll get back in here with you after I pop her off. Literally like an hour later, I haven't even moved and almost got it. I had to unbolt the wheel cylinder and the brake line, and I think the whole thing ended up coming off as one piece. I mean, I've been dropping hardware out of this thing left and right, and I don't have any hardware kits, so you might see what I can cobble together. I might have to spring for the $5 for a hardware kit, which will pretty much kill me, so let's hope I don't have to do that. You were being such a good girl. Come on! The shoes are literally rusted to the drum. I can feel it in there. It can't be that much holding the damn thing on. Ah. Come on. Almost. Ah. Almost, maybe. Get it? Yeah, there we go, there we go. Ah, God damn it. Oof. Real bad. These are those divorced lining brake shoes. Everything else in here is broken. The inner wheel bearing is on here, and it's probably good, just needs cleaned. Let's see if we get the other drum off, and then we'll mess with this, because I need to know if I need to buy 2 hardware kits or what I'm missing, actually, because I don't got much to go on. This side rolls, but I'm gonna guess there's nothing in there. Which, if there's not, and I have to buy 2 hardware kits, I'll probably have to cut this video off right here. Oh, that's alright. We'll work with whatever we gotta do. So there's no cotter pin in there. This bearing is barely sitting in there. That blows. I know I'm not gonna have enough hardware to put all of that together. God, that shock has exploded. Oh, probably when it rolled, actually. I know it doesn't show on camera, but this thing took a hell of a hit. Not only do I not have the hardware, but I also ordered the wrong shoes. I ordered shoes for 10-inch drums, it looks like. And these are 11-inch drums. I need to buy shoes again. I need to buy 1 brake adjuster for that side. So I'm fresh out now. I don't think I got any extra. 2 hardware kits. I may even price drums, just for grins. Well, it looks like I got the right wheel cylinders at least. I can go ahead and toss them in, I guess. Then I'm going to hop on the Rock Auto and order everything else that I need. Shoes, adjuster, hardware kits, 11-inch brakes. Well, I committed a cardinal sin on this side. The rubber line where it meets the metal line. I rounded off the fitting, and it doesn't want to budge. I reapplied my penetrating lube, and I'll try it tomorrow, but if not, we're going to have to make another line, which of course is the longest, most snakiest line I've ever seen. So that's fantastic. Thank God there's no motor in it, though. Let's be thankful for the little things. Anyway, I think that's going to do it for brakes for now. I'm going to hop on the Rock Auto, order stuff. I'm going to show you one more thing before we wrap it up. You guys might remember these turbine mags, the other ones over there, that Jay from Irish Outlaw Garage sent me, a good buddy of mine. And, you know, I think we're going to get rid of the clown car appeal of these. And, you know, I knew they were very proud of this, but, you know, it's time for it to go. So I'm just going to blast them black, like so. And then what we'll do, after I get done with that, probably in the next episode, is we'll hit them, the spokes with the DA, get them all shined back up, be looking like the General Lee. Wish I could find 2 more of those big, fat, deep ones. That'd be cool all the way around, but this is more than cool enough for now. So I'm going to spray these up, and I think that's going to do it for this one. There we go. They actually look pretty tough, all black, I'm not going to lie. But I think it'll look better with silver spokes. Really tell it on this guy over here. Look at that. That is 80s. Alright guys, unfortunately, that's going to do it for this one. We just ran out of time, ran out of parts. It happens. Make sure you hit that like, hit that subscribe, and comment down below. It really helps out. You guys make the difference on whether or not this channel grows. You know, I do my part, and really, it's in your guys' hands, which, not a bad thing. I think I got a pretty good bunch of folks watching, you know, and subscribing, so I really appreciate you guys. So anyway, I ordered everything and a few extra things, like the idler arm is completely destroyed in this, so I ordered one of those, and thought about ordering ball joints and stuff, but I'd not yet. I really need to dig in and see what we got to work with before I just load the parts cannon up. And again, we're on a budget with this, a real budget. Not the federal government budget, a real budget. We are the Real Budget YouTube channel, after all. So every dollar I spend is it's a bite out of that budget. And I'm pretty sure we're going to go over the $3,000 mark, unfortunately, but I'm trying to minimize that damage. We're not there yet, but it could get there depending how serious I get. I'll see you guys next time on Pole Barn Garage. Expect to see more of this. This is what I'm after. Title's coming back on the SX4. I can wheel that in and work on it too. Please let me know if you want to see the little Eagle. And I could probably do both, I think, because the Eagle doesn't need that much, but I don't know. So anyway, hit the like, hit the subscribe, please, please, please hit the notification bell. And because last couple months, I think we've been kind of squished. So anyway, see you guys next time.